Dorit Kemsley just went on the after show and said Kyle Richards made her feel like the token moron and token idiot on national television. And I'm going to be real with you, I actually can't defend Kyle on this one. Because what Kyle did was call Boz during the Hamptons trip and say she thought Dorit was acting manic. She pointed to Dorit being late for a flight, spending money while shopping, and seeming scattered. And then when Andy asked Dorit at the reunion if Kyle's manic and erratic comments had come back to bite her in her actual divorce proceedings, Dorit said, "Oh yeah. That means Kyle's words on a television show may have been used against Dorit in a custody and divorce case." And that changes the entire weight of this conversation. So let's talk about it. Here's the full picture. During the Hamptons trip, Kyle had a phone conversation with Boz where she expressed concern about Dorit's behavior. She said Dorit seemed scattered, was spending too much money, and was acting erratic. Kyle framed it as two friends worrying about a third friend who's going through a divorce. On the after show, she said there was nothing malicious about it, that it was just observations, not a gossip fest. And I actually believe Kyle thinks she was coming from a good place. But intent and impact are two very different things. Because what ended up happening is those comments. Manic, erratic, scattered, aired on national television. And when you're in the middle of a divorce, where you're fighting for sole legal and physical custody of your children, having your friend describe your mental state that way on a show that millions of people watch, that is ammunition. That is something a lawyer can point to in court. And Kyle should know that. This is a woman who sat front row for the entire Erika Jayne and Tom Girardi legal saga. She watched everything Erika said on camera get picked apart, submitted as evidence, used in depositions. She knows how this works. She's been on this show for 15 seasons. She understands that words on camera don't just disappear, they become the record. So to go on a phone call and casually throw around manic about a woman who is actively in a custody battle, that's not concern. That's carelessness. And Dorit has every right to be furious about it. Now, Dorit's response was emotional and direct. She said Kyle made her feel like the token idiot, like someone who was mentally unstable, irrational, and couldn't be taken seriously. She said she expected more loyalty and compassion from someone she'd been friends with for years. And she was especially upset that Kyle said all of this to Boz behind her back instead of coming to her directly. If Kyle was genuinely worried about her friend, why didn't she pull Dorit aside and say, "Hey, are you okay? I'm noticing some things, and I'm concerned." That's what a real friend does. Calling another castmate and labeling your friend's behavior as manic? That's what a storyline does. And this connects directly to the bigger accusation Dorit made at the reunion that Kyle went into season 15 with a deliberate plan to make her look manic and erratic. Dorit said it point blank, "You went into this season with a plan." Kyle denied it. But when you look at the pattern, the phone call to Boz, commenting on Dorit's spending, telling the other women she's not in the same financial position, and then pulling out. Text receipts at the reunion to prove Dorit was being fake, it starts to look less like concern and more like strategy. Whether it was conscious or not, Kyle spent the season building a case against Dorit's stability. And Dorit felt it. Dorit also called the cast Kyle's army of soldiers in a confessional, saying she's just waiting for someone to hand them matching uniforms. And she warned Kyle at the reunion that her split with Mauricio might not stay amicable forever, that she hopes to God it does, but that she shouldn't assume it will. That was pointed, because right now, Kyle and Mauricio are doing the friendly separation thing, dinners, coffee, holidays together. But Dorit is living proof that things can turn ugly fast, and she's essentially saying, "Be careful how you judge my situation, because yours could look exactly like mine in a year." Here's where I land. I understand that Kyle may have genuinely been worried. Divorce brings out a different side of people, and watching a friend spend money they might not have while going through a custody battle is uncomfortable. But you don't express that concern by calling someone manic on a television show that could be subpoenaed. You pull them aside. You have a private conversation. You protect them. And Kyle didn't do that. She talked to Boz. She talked to Erica. She talked to everyone except the person she was supposedly worried about. And now those comments have real-world consequences for Dorit's life, not just her storyline, but her custody case, her divorce proceedings, her reputation as a mother. That's not drama. That's damage. Part 3 of the reunion airs May 7th. Pop off in the comments, smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!